so that was that. So I guess I'm going to just let that dry and then mix up a whole bunch more and cover the whole thing. All right, we got most of the coat of Bondo on there. I sincerely hope this is enough because that was actually basically the entire can. So I've never really put Bondo over a whole panel before. It's usually just your small touch-ups when you're replacing some other stuff. But I've never really tried to fix a panel this big. So anyway, hope it's enough. I'm going to sand it now. I'm going to do that outside because it's raining. Well, not raining, but rainy. So that means I can't paint it outside, so I'm going to have to paint it in here, hence the plastic over the front of the car. So I'm going to take it outside and deal with that, and we'll come back once it's painted or sanded. All right, we are back. Got the Bondo sanded down to much smoother than before. It still might in theory need more work, but the actual metal, it would have needed more metal work, and that's just a little bit beyond me. So at this point, I could take it back to bare metal and I could try again, but I do want to paint this fairly soon. It'll be pretty wavy, but my goal was to make it better. Most body guys probably would just ditch this hood because the amount of man hours it's going to take to bring it back to life is far more than the cost of just buying a new hood. So this is the one I got. So we're going to roll with it. This is all just kind of a fun experiment for me anyway. So I've done a decent amount of body work, but I've never done anything as large as fixing a very dented whole hood. I've done small stuff and quarter panels. I did my wife's quarter panel on her car, but we're going to just take a tack cloth to this, make sure we get all the dust off of it. I already blew it off before, but now it's been tack clothed off, so there shouldn't be any debris on there. I'm going to use a etching primer. Just going to hit it with that etching primer first. Then after that, I'm going to hit it with some filler primer, especially in some of these kind of low spots. I may also use some glazing putty kind of in between there. But yeah, so let's see it with primer, and we'll see just how bad of a job I did. This is my old can. It's kind of low. I did get a fresh can this morning, but this I guess I'm going to just do a tack coat with this. It's super light coat to get things started. Alright, that's coat one down. I'll let that dry for a couple minutes and then we'll try some of that filler primer. So, got a couple coats of primer on. Things are looking pretty good. It's not like, again, it's not the best, and I am just using spray paint for this job. But that leads me to the next step, which is going to be, I'm going to put down my base coat, which is going to be this orange. The thing about this, you might notice, it's not actually the same color as the car. And that's okay, because the plan isn't to paint it the same color as the car. I'm going with a 3-color design for the hood, a little different. And these are the colors I'm using. I've got a regular orange, I've got fire orange, and I've got yellow. So basically it's going to be this guy first, then the yellow, then the fire. And well, I'm just going to get to painting, and you'll see what I'm going with, and we'll see together if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Worst case scenario, I'll just probably paint it all in this color. I'm also trying out this new can from Rust-Oleum. It seems to be kind of the only can of paint they have in Home Depot. I would have preferred just a normal thing, but maybe the interesting fan sort of situation in different spray patterns works out better. And respirator. Alright, so it's the next day. First coat has had about 24 hours to cure. Well, by first coat, I mean the base coat. I've got 2 coats down on that. It's definitely not the best. It's a little wavy, but again, just trying something new with this. I'm going to probably end up replacing the hood down the road, but for now, I'm going to just, start with the design. So it's time to start laying out the tape. Okay, started laying down the first bits of tape. No, I'm not doing a racing stripe. That would be dumb. I also, obviously, not keeping that blue. It's blue because it's blue painter's tape. Living in Denver, that's too much blue and orange for me. People will think I like football. Anywho, I've got more masking to do. All right, it's starting to take shape. Got a little bit more of the tape on there. So, any guesses on what I'm doing? All right, we're all masked up. So, time to lay down the second color, which in this case is yellow. By now, it should be pretty obvious what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm not doing it in the traditional colors because that would clash too much. I thought about doing it in the traditional colors, but I decided to do shades of orange and red, or orangey, reddish yellow. All right, guys, Eric here from the future. I was doing some editing and realized that I lost the files or didn't have or never recorded. But while I was laying down the second coat, so the yellow, the spray paint had a weird reaction and got all wrinkly. If I can find it, I'll put a picture of it in right now. But basically, yeah, so I had to kind of, the next day when it was mostly dry, scrape off most of it, try to sand it back down to get to the base coat. And so it ended up a little bit lumpy. But the presentation still worked pretty well. But the technique was pretty bad. So, yeah, I guess the issue is I may have mixed some types of spray paint. They were all Rust-Oleum, but maybe a different flavor of Rust-Oleum. But yeah, it was perfectly clean. There was no contaminants on it. It was just paint on top of freshly painted paint. But anyway, yeah. So it wrinkled up and I made some messes, but it turned out pretty okay. But I'll let you get back to the video right now. So I tried to fix it. It's still wrinkly, still wavy, but I'm trying to take this to the Colorado Conclave literally in like 3 days. So I'm just going to send it. It's going to look terrible, but it'll at least look okay. I am going to probably end up redoing this on a different hood, one that's a little more salvageable, and do that later. But for now, it'll go on the car and it'll look better than a rusty black hood. So, bit of a fail on this one, but we're just going to keep moving along. As you can see, I've got it all masked up. So I'm going to hit one more time. Everything you see here in yellow is going to be kind of a burnt orange, this guy, which actually kind of matches the color of the car. So yeah, we're just going to go. All right, guys. I got the last coat on. That one laid down nicely. Unfortunately, the stuff it was on top of is crap. But we'll peel it all off and expose what's underneath, and we'll see if I only have a mostly epic fail or a truly epic fail. So if it at least looked good from a distance, I'm happy, and we'll see how it looks on the car. If it looks atrocious, it's still going back on the car, but I'm going to scrap it almost immediately. But without further ado, let's start ripping this tape off. Okay, there it is. You know, it's not actually half bad. So I'm going to do a little bit of touch up, and obviously I need to peel off the rest of those little tape crumbs. But yeah, this orange is definitely completely wrong. I really probably should have done this as the base coat instead, but it said it was satin, and it's actually a lot glossier than it looks. But yeah, it'll do for the conclave. We'll see if I get any good reactions. But yeah, turned out better than I thought, so I'm happy. Obviously, I've got a little bit of bleed through, but I kind of don't really care. You get the point. So no one's going to judge me too harshly. It's very clearly a home-done hack of a job, and they tend to be a little nicer with that. At least I would be. So yeah, I'm going to clean that up and then hit it with some clear and stick it on the car. Alrighty then, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.